You would support him for president even if he's convicted in classified documents. You support him for president even though you believe he contributed to an insurrection. You support him for president even though you believe he's lying about the last election. You support him for president even if he's convicted in the Manhattan case. I just want to say the answer to that is yes, correct?
Yeah, me and 51% of America.
Republican governor of New Hampshire, Chris Sununu, says that no matter what, he and what he claims are 51% of American voters will be supporting Donald Trump, regardless of the charges against him, regardless of guilty verdicts against Donald Trump. This was an interview on This Week with George Stephanopoulos yesterday. This is not exactly a profile in courage for Chris Sununu. He is asked by George Stephanopoulos to sum up all of the things Trump has done. It doesn't matter. You're still supporting the guy. And Sununu defiantly says yes, and so is 51% of America. We're going to fact check those numbers in a moment.
That's how badly America wants a culture change.
So just to sum up, you support him for president even if he's convicted in classified documents. You support him for president even though you believe he contributed to an insurrection. You support him for president even though you believe he's lying about the last election. You support him for president even if he's convicted in the Manhattan case. I just want to say the answer to that is yes, correct?
Yeah, me and 51% of America.
Governor, thanks for your time this morning.
Now, Chris Sununu seems to be saying it's not crazy for me to support Trump, despite all of those things George Stephanopoulos said, because 51% of America supports him despite those things also. So I don't know where he's getting that number, 51%. Trump's never gotten 51% of the vote. Trump won in 2016 with 45% of the popular vote. Trump lost in 2020 with 46% of the popular vote. Trump has never had the support of 51% of America's voters. And of course, it's a little bit risky to assume that with Trump having 45 and 46% of the popular vote previously, that with all of this going on, he's going to grow his share of the vote to 51%. I think that it's very difficult to make any serious predictions in this election. But the one I would be comfortable making is Trump doesn't get 50% of the vote, especially, by the way, if RFK Jr. is still on the ballot. I don't see any way, even in a head-to-head matchup, that Trump gets 50% of the vote. If RFK is in there, Cornel West, Jill Stein, that's a bet I would take. So I don't know where Chris Sununu is getting this stuff. One more clip here. This is from earlier in the interview. George Stephanopoulos starts by asking, even if he's convicted, would you still support the guy? And again, not a profile in courage here from Governor Sununu.
Tomorrow, that criminal trial, will your support for Donald Trump continue even if he's convicted in Manhattan?
Yeah, this trial is not going to have major political ramifications that a lot of people, I think it may have. And when it comes to these issues, people see it more as reality TV at this point. They really do. And so
this is a lie, by the way, and we have the numbers to back it up, but stand by.
You know, whether it's a conviction or what that conviction looks like, a lot of folks, they conflate all four of these different trials that he's in. I don't think it's good that he's going to be in the court, have to be in there probably 3 days a week, for a number of weeks. That takes him off the campaign trail. He'll probably go back on the campaign trail and almost like rehash what's going on. He'll try to victimize it. And that has worked for him, right? I mean, this has been going on for over a year, and his poll numbers never seem to go down because of the issue.
So listen, his poll numbers, it is true, his poll numbers do not seem to be going down because of this issue, although some, like Rachel Biddecofer, would argue it's too early to really see the effect of that. It is not true that most voters see this trial as nonsense. In fact, we have new polling, and we talked about it on the bonus show, and we will do so again. Americans do see this as quite serious. Whether their vote would change based on conviction is a different poll. And that is, we have some of that data, and it seems that there aren't that many Americans who would vote for Trump if he were to be convicted. But Chris Sununu is gaslighting here, suggesting that nobody really sees this as serious. Most Americans do see these charges as serious. It is true that some are conflating the four different cases. They are four different cases for different alleged wrongdoing. Each will be adjudicated in its own venue and on its own merits. But if Sununu is assuming Americans think this is no big deal, I am sure that hardcore MAGA, there's probably 20, 30, 40 maybe million people who see this as just a nonsense witch hunt. The vast majority of the country, including many Republicans, see these as serious charges. And the question now becomes, what happens if there's a conviction? Polling from a few months ago suggested a conviction would dissuade even more people from Donald Trump. No matter what, we all have to vote. But I think a conviction will hurt Donald Trump. Let me know what you think. It is time to start thinking like voters and to make sure that kids understand the importance of voting, how it works, registering, ballot initiatives, because so many kids just have no idea. That's why I wrote the new children's book, Think Like a Voter. I can think of no better time and no more important group of folks to try to reach. The book is now available at davidpakman.com/book, where, by the way, you can get the first 2 books in the series as well. Think Like a Detective and Think Like a Scientist. Really important stuff. Donate them to local libraries, classrooms, read them with the kids. davidpakman.com/book.